Hi and welcome to Rethink Dialogue. In today's episode we're going to sit down with Rob Newlan, the guy from Creative Solutions at Facebook. And it's a pretty good conversation we're having with him. Come along. Hi Rob Newlan.
Hi.
You are working for Global Creative Solutions at Facebook.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about your background first.
So, I came after about 12 years being brand side.
Okay.
So I started at Unilever and was a grad there.
Okay.
Worked on everything glamorous from frozen peas to ice cream. And then when we bought SlimFast, when they bought SlimFast, I went across as a landing team there. So it was really interesting. It was a small business inside a big business. And I was fascinated even at that point about what does it take to be in an entrepreneurial environment. So I had a really fascinating couple of years there. But when someone phoned and said, "Do you fancy going working on Guinness in Ireland?" I didn't stop to think for too long. So I spent about 6-7 years working on Guinness in the UK and Ireland. Had a fantastic time making great ads, really understanding the craft. And then went across to Coke to help set up a new energy drink there called Relentless. And ran the sports drink Powerade. So I spent a couple of years there before moving across to Facebook.
Wow. And you're a creative or you're a strategist, or what type of position do you have?
So I head up the creative group for EMEA. And you know what, I would say that I have a background in brand and sort of strategy, and I have a massive passion around the art and the creativity and the craft. But I'm very fortunate that within my team I have amazing award-winning creative directors and strategists. I have people who are far better, far stronger than me, who really are sort of artists at their craft.
Cool. So here in the Nordics, I would say, or what I perceive from the Nordics is that a lot of people are now saying that Facebook is losing their power because there's so much noise, there's so much static in the feed, and then of course because of brands not being good enough doing their stuff on the platform. So what's your take on that? What do you think about how the businesses are doing on Facebook at the moment?
So there's two questions in there. One is around noise in feed and sort of Facebook's relevancy, and one is around quality. Yeah. So noise in feed. I think that we see that there's a proliferation of platforms. People are using more platforms to do different things or complementary elements, and they have different relationships and they are able to have different identities. Facebook is all about authentic identity, and people live out their life in a very particular way. We see, say, in the US, I think you look at sort of 90+% of teenagers are using Facebook, and then it drops off quite a lot to then say that they're also using Twitter and Snapchat and Instagram, but there's absolutely a repertoire usage that we're starting to see. But that's under a realm of overall hours increasing in engagement on platforms in general. We also see that we are increasing user base and engagement. Our engagement numbers are growing, and people are coming back more often, and partly that is very much around the role of mobile, as this is very much a mobile first platform, but it is a key way in which they're navigating the world, the things that matter to them, the brands, the people, and all the organizations. Everything that matters to them is being able to be served in one snapshot place, which is their news feed. As far as quality, I think we're on a road to getting to better quality. I think there's a threshold which is not being reached in general, and that is very much what I'm passionate about, helping try and craft that change. And as a team, that's what we're really looking to do, to help brands and work with key agencies in looking at upping that quality of all the content that goes into the feed. it's such a valuable place. So 25% of all the time on the internet is spent on Facebook.
Yeah.
And most of that time is spent on mobile, and most of the time of that is spent on a news feed. So thinking about that as media real estate, it's really key to craft those stories in the right way. And we talked today a lot about how that work needs to be delivered, and really understanding your purpose as a brand, and therefore crafting your voice and your visual identity in a way in which it's credible and authentic and real. But then also that the messages therefore that are laid down into someone's newsfeed don't feel like they've got a massive juxtaposition with this space, but that they are complementary, and there's something which is additive to people's experiences, versus something which is all too easy to skim past.
Yeah. I remember when we talked, you mentioned to me that that you were looking forward to coming to Rethink and talk to the crowd, because you said that Facebook was so much more than just likes and sponsored stories.
Yeah.
So what do you mean by that?
So,
because in my perspective, that's like just scratching the surface of Facebook, really.
yes.
But probably 80% of the companies and people, that's what they do. They're like scratching just the surface, and then probably there's a massive amount of tools that only the big brands that gets the privilege of working with you get access to.
So, I suppose yes and no. And one is that for the newsfeed, a core creative art here is publishing. Being able to look at a storyline, look at an editorial calendar, and be able to understand the type of messages you want to lay down, and the thematic that you're trying to convey from that. So that's a publishing art, and that's something which everybody can do and drive through the feed and get the reach that they need to, and the targeting that they really need to look into craft for. That's something which I think the general storytelling and communication should be coming out from brands anyway. The sophistication of that targeting can then jump, where you're able to use products like our custom audiences, which is a really clever way of companies being able to take the databases that they already have, be able to match those with Facebook identities, mash that data. We never ever will share individuals' identities or any of that data together, but to be able to take that and use that to target back into the platform key messages. If you know and you have an amazing database which says this is the person which is a really high value consumer and they're about to come out of contract and you're in a telcos company, this is a great way of being able to get hold of them. What's really exciting is then be able to say the kind of people who responded to these messages looked a little bit something like this, and we can find a whole load of people who look like that. Yeah. And then you can increase your user base and you can expand, so you can do retention and recruitment. That kind of sophistication of laying down, using our ad targeting tools is very much how our sales teams want to be working, the conversations they want to be having. But certainly there's a level in which you need brand belief. Yeah. The brands need to be putting the work into the platform to get the response, then to make sure that they can use the work in a sufficient way. Exactly. Yeah. So would you categorize it like some companies are just lazy? They think that it's just to put a picture saying that like us and win an iPad, because there's a lot of those competitions around. Yep. And wrong soundbite there to have to say yep. No, the reality of that is no, I don't think they're lazy, but I think that we probably did a bad job in conveying to people early on what some of the purpose of Facebook was, and it was seen and adopted as the free thing to connect with lots of your consumers. Yeah. And it was basically PR in old world view of PR, even of I can get some free media and I can get some free connection with people. And free never drives towards a great creative outcome, because people aren't investing it in the same way. If you're going to spend $10 million on TV ad media, the work that you're going to put into that TV ad for $10 million worth has to be of sufficient quality. The 80-20 rule, or whatever that might be, you have as a ratio. That didn't sit from the early days as part of the narrative of the way in which brands were using the platform, and therefore, because of, I think, very much through our own fault, we weren't conveying that and communicating that. And I think certainly now, when you look at our scale and reach, 1.1 million monthly active users, sort of 665 million daily active users, and 70% of those on mobile, it takes it to a very different place. It has an enormous potency and ability to reach people at an incredible scale. So reframing that in marketeers' minds, in people's minds, is a job that we need to do, and the onus is on us. Yeah. But yes, I really want to move away from like us if you like summer, share this if you love Fridays, and like this to win an iPad. It doesn't set a sufficient quality threshold.
No. No, I actually worked with McDonald's doing their community management strategy stuff, and the funny thing was when when McDonald's posted cheeseburger or hamburger, that picture, it got like thousands of likes. If we posted something with like a more clever message, then it was like 20 likes. And we were always like questioning what's wrong with people. Like they just want the simple message. Like cheeseburger, hamburger. Yeah, I can relate to that. Cheeseburger. Like crazy. But I mean,
although I think one of the cleverest lines was "Gurk in" or "Gurk out."
Yeah, that's true.
I love that line.
Yeah,
it's still one of my favorite all-time copy lines.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you can get clever copy. So, but again, I think most brands have to invest, like you say, in producing relevant and quality content.
What I find interesting is that you have the ability to reach and influence and connect with all of these consumers, and put great and creative stories in front of them at relevant times in relevant places. The opportunity seems incredible. And I just think you have to therefore respect that opportunity with the right kind of talent. It's not that we're short of creative industries. It's not short that there aren't copywriters and amazing art directors and creative directors out there. It's not that there aren't people with amazing editorial experience, and that there aren't people from production backgrounds who can create great work. It's almost that they just haven't been asked to yet. And there hasn't been the sort of the request that this is where we need to step up to.
Yeah, true. So the concept of social media, everyone's like, oh, social media, it's free, you can do whatever, and it's so easy to engage with people. But I mean, it's not really true, is it?
No, no, it isn't. And because like anything, you have to work at it. You have to learn how to do it, and you have to put the effort to get the returns. And if you approach it in a way that you don't approach it with, I think the old adage is 2 ears, 1 mouth, and it should be in that proportion. It becomes a very boring space for people very quickly. And you can't bore people into buying your products. It just doesn't happen. So I think there's amazing opportunity with looking at it as a great opportunity to reach the right people, and to reach a lot of people if you really want to as well. But with targeted great copy at the heart of what you're putting through it is a must. The inaccuracy of this free thing is something which kind of just has to be laid to rest, because if nothing else, it takes great community management and great copywriting and great art directing, and therefore you need to pay people who are good at that. But equally there, once you've invested in it, you may as well get it in front of enough people to actually make significant difference to your business, and do it in a way which is credible and authentic, and is something that provides value to people. And value can be beautiful, amazing imagery that people want to lust after, and aspire to have. The beautiful couture from Burberry or Gucci or Chanel. It works in that way, as flicking through Vogue, as flicking through the high-end beautiful magazines. You have this space in which people are dreaming and aspiring to other things, and then equally entertaining, making people laugh, making people cry. You have this space, but finding your role is what's key to then delivering great value exchange for people.
Good point. So if you would, so the podcast is targeting small, medium businesses in Norway or in the Nordics, basically. But also, of course, it has a global message. But if you would give sort of an advice to a small enterprise, small company, thinking about starting on Facebook, thinking about, okay, how should we proceed? What should we do? What's the right steps to go forward to make things happen?
I would say that small and medium-sized businesses are better placed. Yeah, better placed at the moment to really be able to understand what the core value is that you want to express. Because I would guess they have a better understanding of their customers, their consumers. They understand the things that turn them on and turn them off. They understand what it is about them that keeps them coming back. And being able to bring that down into their core purpose and how their voice therefore comes across. They understand the role that they need to play with that community, probably in a better way sometimes than an abstracted level from big global brands. To write that down on paper. What's our purpose? How do we convey our voice? What to sit there and just grab some images, tear them out of a magazine, go on to Google Images, whatever it is, but say, these are the images that express us in the best way, and this is what we aren't. And then say, these are the 3 things that we'll talk about for the next while. Providing a little bit of that structure then means that you can understand what posts do and don't look like. And you can learn, say, within the 3 pillars of things you're going to talk about. Maybe one people react to really well, the other not so well, and one sometimes. And you to go back in and spend a bit of time analysing what's working, why people are reacting to stuff, or what people are saying about things. And then I would make sure that you're approaching it not as a vanity project or something that's fun, and make sure that you're spending to target the right people. Use the targeting tools because they're great. It's exactly what they're made for. A specific industry, a specific area. To take those targeting tools and really work out the groups of people that do and don't work with it. Test it. Spend a couple of quid here, a couple of pounds there, and understand who reacts to what kind of message. And then go back at them and make sure that's where you can really drive returns from it.
So one question I always ask at the end of an episode is what inspires you? So where do you find inspiration?
The cheesy answer to that is from my daughters.
Really?
I have a 3-year-old and 1-year-old daughter, and they are the people who make me laugh more than anybody in the world, and their perspective on things allows me to see through their eyes into how we maybe should see stuff. And it constantly shakes me up as far as really understanding clear communication. It really forces clear communication, but it also opens your eyes up to wonder and craft and beauty and things that you wouldn't normally see. And that's amazing. That for me gets me up in the morning and puts me to bed at night happy. and helps keep my brain in a way that really, really values craft and creativity as a core way of communicating. As a really simple basis, like my daughters probably paint every single day. Way in which they express themselves is through art and painting things and painting themselves and painting me. It's such a brilliant way of reminding us of the power of creativity. And creativity in a business sense has a real power to move people irrationally. Telling people something that is a very rational message that they should come and buy your product does one thing. Making them feel it and want to do it does a whole different thing. And the power of creativity to move businesses and to move people has such a great opportunity for you to build out businesses and also entertain and keep people happy at the same time. So I think that's the kind of stuff that really excites me.
Yeah, cool. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.